Well, hi there. So in this video, we're going to do a little bit of practice with the difference between quantity demanded and demand, and also practice with some of the things that might shift demand. So let's get started. So our first practice, we're just going to take a look at this little table where it says text messages by Allison, Bill, Chang. Sorry that this is not quite focused there. Let's see. Allison, Bill, and Chang, and what's quantity demanded. So quantity demanded in the market price is 12 cents. Now the trick here is to notice that we've got Allison 200, Bill 200, and Chang 200, and that the total of those is equal to 600. So we're going to say 600 equals that, 200 plus 200 plus 200, because we're just summing what are the three people. What happens with quantity demanded if the price goes up to 20 cents? Well, at 20 cents, now they're only willing to buy 40, so it decreases down to 40. What happens to the demand if the price decreases to 4 cents, though? Again, the initial event here is the price changing. At 4 cents, well, the amount that people are willing and able to buy is different, but the relationship, that is to say this table, is exactly the same. So we would say no change, and that's going to be our key distinction here. If price is changing, that means we're just moving to a different point within this data table. If we're actually saying that demand is changing, this whole data table will change. If all these consumers' income doubled, for example, all these numbers might double. So we would say that like the amount that Allison and Bill and Chang, regardless of the price, that they buy twice as much. For each prompt, what happens to demand or quantity demanded? Let's take a look. Consumer income. That's a demand shifter, so already I know it's going to be demand. If it's dropping for a normal good, then that means people are going to buy less of it because they have less money, less willing and able. Substitute goods decrease in price. Related goods are always a demand shifter, but when we think about substitutes and complements, it's useful to have one at the ready in your mind. I think about Coke and Pepsi. So I go, okay, Pepsi goes down in price. What's going to happen to the demand for Coke? Well, people are going to buy more quantity of Pepsi, so they're going to demand less Coca-Cola. For the third one, research shows that consumption of the good has health benefits. Again, taste and preferences is a demand shifter, and that's going to increase it. If consumers are expecting prices to rise soon, expectations about future prices are a demand shifter. And if I think prices are going to be higher soon, I'm going to buy it today, so my demand will rise. If the complement goods are changing in price, that's a related good. We're going to see a demand shift. And now I have in my ready hot dogs and hot dog buns. I don't even eat hot dogs, but those are my example that I know I immediately latch onto with compliments. I really encourage you to think of one that you're going to always go to. Maybe it's graham crackers and marshmallows, right? So if I think the hot dog buns are rising in price, what are we going to do to the demand for hot dogs? Okay, less hot dogs. So, down. Price suddenly changes for the good. That's going to be quantity demanded, right? Price doesn't shift the curve. It's just going to change quantity demanded. If the price is going down, quantity demanded is going up. Now we have two demand curves for Mark and Mary, and it says give their individual demand curves. What's the market quantity demanded at 6? So we look at price 6 and we say, well, Mary's buying 2 at price 6. Mark is buying 2. So we would say 6. So 2 plus 2 equals 4. If both of their incomes doubled, all else being constant, what's now the market quantity demanded? Well, you would say if both of their incomes doubled, then it's kind of like shifting their demand curves, doubling their demand curves, right? So we would now say 4 plus 4 equals 8. You could also have just taken that 4 that was right up there and doubled it to become 8 units, right? So we're buying 8 units now. Now the last part on here is another little bit of quick practice between demand and quantity demanded. Lots of tricky parts with it. Sunscreen sales decrease during winter and increase in summertime. Think about it. Is that a taste and preferences shifter, or is it just the price of the good? Well, taste and preferences, right? People don't need as much in winter. They probably do, actually. Sunscreen is valuable even in the winter times. But anyway, I digress. Demand. Coffee sales increase after Starbucks offers discounts to users of mobile apps. Now think about it. Is it the price that's changing, or is it something else? Well, it's not something else. In this case, Starbucks is just lowering the price for a certain subset of customers, but they're just changing the price. And so we would say quantity demanded. Flowers are the top selling item at Costco on Mother's Day despite higher prices. That's actually true, by the way. But we can even tell right here, if they're higher prices and still buying more of them, then that's going to be a demand shifter. High gas prices, tipping you off right there. The prices are the initial event, leading consumers to stop buying as much. That's still quantity demanded. An easy rule of thumb with this is that if the price is changing, demand is not what's going to be shifting. Price doesn't shift the curve. It only changes quantity demanded. And that's the only thing that ever changes quantity demanded is a change in price. I hope this helped you. I'll see you next time.